Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Luz, and all I do here is practice my fluency using ESL discussion materials that I find online. My favorite website for the time being is the esldiscussions.com website. I go by alphabetical order. They have lots of topics there. So today I chose the letter N, and the topic is going to be no. We have 10 questions, so let's get through them. Alrighty, so question 1, what comes to mind when you hear the word no? Well, I'm thinking about a couple of things. So first and foremost, I'm thinking about a person who's trying to stand their own ground, and they use no as a way to kind of do that. I'm also thinking of an authority figure, like a parent saying no to their child. And I'm also thinking about a panicked situation where the person is just reacting to something negative that they've seen. I'm also thinking about that when I hear the word no. I don't think it's a very positive situation when I'm hearing the word no. That's what comes to my mind. Question 2, which do you say more, no or yes? Well, I'm typically one of those people that need a bit of time before I make a decision. I don't like to feel rushed, so I would typically say no before I said yes. And I feel like that's for a really, really good reason. I feel like sometimes we get approached by people who are in a hurry and they're trying to rush you and put you on their schedule. So for me, I just find it really easy for me to say no. If I need more time, I will request for time. It also depends on the nature of the request. If it's too aggressive, I'm going to straight away say no without even thinking about it. You know, it is what it is. Question 3. Is it sometimes difficult to say no? Well, for me, it has never been. Right now, I'm very lucky to be old enough to not be in a position where I need to please people. I feel like that's the most burdensome thing in today's society. Just like people pleasing. You want to say yes when you shouldn't be saying no because you're afraid of the consequences. Is this person going to like you after you said no or not? I have never been a people pleaser, even though there have been times where I felt like someone was trying to impose their will on me. And even if they succeeded and managed to go ahead with it, I knew in my mind it was a no, and I would, kind of automatically lose respect for this person, even if they went ahead and actually did whatever they wanted to do. Question 4. What did you think when your parents said no when you were a child? Well, as with all kids, I wasn't very happy about this because I feel like kids are very stubborn about what they want, and they want it now as well. Parents have to consider the requests coming from their child. Is the thing they're asking for too expensive for them to afford? Is the child asking them for permission to participate in a dangerous situation? I feel like those are some good reasons why parents say no as well. And I feel like they have a right to say no, especially for the first 18 years of their life. Parents feel very entitled to say no to their children because they kind of own them at that age. So whether or not parents abuse their right or authority to say no to their children, I think that's pretty much up to them. But there are some good reasons why parents would say no, and I don't think kids like it anyway, good or bad. Question 5. What is a no-no? Well, I feel like a no-no is a rule that a person has established for themselves after having had a bad situation with something. So for example, if you were a person who usually got bloated after eating like airplane food, you would kind of make it a rule for yourself to never eat airplane food and to actually pack the delicious snacks that you actually want to bring to the plane with you. So I feel like a no-no is like a consequence of a bad situation that you've experienced, and you've decided that you're not going to put yourself through that experience as well. A no-no situation could actually also be universal. Some type of situation being dangerous and urging other people not to participate, like going into that town is a no-no, or going to that restaurant is a no-no. Because of these negative experiences that people have, they would kind of trying to caution others by making it a no-no to do certain things. So for me, I feel like a no-no is like a self-prohibition that protects themselves from repeating a bad experience. So it's a brilliant invention. Question 6. When was the last time you had to shout no? Well, it was probably when I was watching a movie. Like I've said in all the 13 videos I've made until this point, my favorite genre is the horror movie. And I feel like out of all the genres coming out of Hollywood and beyond, I feel like horror movies make for the most human stories. I'm not impressed at all watching like sci-fi movies, people jumping on top of buildings. I want to watch like a normal couple driving up to the cabin to enjoy a nice restful weekend. I feel like I connect more with stories like these. Obviously, like with horror movies, I don't think they're very normal, but it's just like a performance by normal looking people. Yes, so I feel like I would be shouting no to a situation where as an audience member, I have more information than one of the protagonists. Like I know the bad guy is behind the door or around the corner, or coming to get them, and it's a really tall man, trying to get this girl who's like stuck at the door. The lock is jammed, she's trying to open it, and the man is like advancing towards her. So I'll be like, no! Something like that to react to that. So I feel like it's a moment of excitement, negative excitement when I shout no. So yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking about. Question 7. Are there any no-go areas in your town? And is your room a no-go area? Well, this is a really good question. So I live very close to the water, and it is my knowledge that the waters are infested by jellyfish. I live in a bit of a warmer area, so like the waters are like infested by jellyfish. I think I've seen one little tiny jellyfish. There are signs everywhere like not to go into the water, and like the most people can do in my area if they want to go to the beach is park their car very, very close to the water line and just like roll down their windows, enjoy the sights and sounds of the crashing waves, and that's all you can do. Maybe do a picnic. That's the most we can do in our town because of the situation. So I would say like that's a no-go. Is my room a no-go area? Well, my house is a no-go area to strangers, and I feel like even with my group of friends, like our homes are like no-go areas because like nobody wants to clean after all the guests have arrived and left. So we also prefer to like go for tea time to like really nice areas that are pretty central to where everybody lives, and it's kind of easy for everybody to drive there. It's also very easy for people to, leave at their pleasure, arrive at their pleasure. We have a wider selection of menu items to actually choose from as well. So I feel like it's always like more fun to meet outside than inside a person's home. Yeah, so I don't feel like my house is like a no-go area, like a hard rule, but I just feel there are more exciting places for people to meet, if you know what I mean. Question 8, do you prefer no-frills, no-nonsense stores, or do you like expensive department stores? Well, I feel like a no-nonsense store is a store with like horrible customer service, so I would probably not go here. But I've also from experience learned that a store that gives you frills is a store that doesn't mind like incurring a loss, really. So in my experience, you would get frills after spending a significant amount of money at the store, and you, for example, get a scarf or a keychain. This is like very insignificant cost-wise to the store. The frills that you get, they're very well deserved. They're very, very well deserved. At the supermarket, for example, I've also realized that the frills they give you, buy one, get three, the food is just about to go bad or date is really, really close. So I would actually stay away from that as well. I prefer no frills because I feel like nobody's really getting frills anyway. So no frills is fine by me. Expensive department stores, I do enjoy the experience, the ambience, everything about an expensive department store, but I don't shop there every day. And I feel like I really enjoy seeing brands on others, especially seeing a brand on a person who enjoys wearing brands. But for me, I'm not a person who's very attached to brands, so I'm not going to be like hoping to go into like the most expensive department store for the sake of it. I would be having a really good reason to go to an expensive department store to buy something really specific for a specific event. For example, I feel like I'm not missing out ever on anything. I've also been able to find really good items from stores that weren't very exclusive as well. I've managed to strike a pretty good balance with my shopping options or the stores that I like to shop at. So there's no choice to make there. Whatever works at the time works. Okay, so let's see. Question 9. Have you ever been in a no-win situation? Absolutely, 100%. Especially when it comes to work. You're bound to make a lot of mistakes, and there are some people who are really unforgiving in the corporate world, and they try to punish you for every small thing. I have been in a lot of no-win situations work-wise, but I have been able to find a method in the madness. A no-win situation at work doesn't bother me because in my mind, I'm thinking what's the worst you can do? You're not going to shoot me into space, are you? So I just let them have at it. These situations end up resolving themselves. I end up learning really valuable lessons as well. But I'm not going to beat myself over something that I can learn a good lesson or two from. Yeah, no-win situations exist, and it's just part of life, I think. Question 10. Do you think no always means no? Well, no should always mean no in a lot of situations, but unfortunately in our world it doesn't. In personal relationships with spouses, with our family members, I feel like a no should be a no in as far as we respect the other person, and I feel like we would try to impose our will on friends and family because we actually don't respect them. In work situations, it's easier for us to accept when our bosses and colleagues tell us no and we accept it as a no. But we kind of feel the need to push our friends and family around, which is not fair at all. In some situations, it means more to accept the no to mean no. I also acknowledge in situations where you're trying to haggle for something, for a discount on your car or a souvenir when person's trying to upsell this thing that costs $5 or something. Coming from the salesperson, he's like, oh no, and they're smiling at you and you can still push. So I know it should always mean no, but I don't feel like it applies for a lot of situations. But I feel like we should be more sensitive toward our friends, families, and loved ones and respect them enough for their no's to actually stick. That's what I think, guys. Alright guys, so that is it from me. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate the views. We're at 13 subscribers now, so if you're watching this video and you like the content and you're actually trying to practice your fluency, please join me on my journey. I would love to have you. Let me know down in the comments as well if you would have answered the questions in the same way that I did. And guys, I will see you on the next one.